Good evening and welcome to this English news edition. Tonight as headlines we have the plight of the people, the head of state Ismail Margele running for presidency in 2016.
First, China meet passenger jet lease production line. Thank you for joining us and you watching Djibouti television. We start with the congratulation messages of the head of state to his counterpart re-elected of the Ivory Coast, Mr. Alassane Ouattara. Your re-election took place from the first round for over 83% of the votes, and it's the perfect illustration that the Ivorian people overwhelmingly intend to pursue its common destiny, and that your leadership, noted the President Guelleh, the trust placed by the Ivorians on you is probably at the measurement of success, especially economic, that you have made since your assumption of the Supreme Judiciary, continued the head of state, forming the sincere wish that the Ivory Coast finally return to its former development model country in Africa. The President of the Republic indeed his messages by reiterating his wishes, success to his re-elected counterparts of the Ivory Coast, Mr. Alassane Ouattara. Another congratulation message, but now from the Secretary General of the Popular Rally for Progress (RPP), Mr. Ilyas Moussa Dawale, who has addressed today Monday a congratulation message to the President of the Justice and Development Party of Turkey, known as AKP, Mr. Ahmed Davutoglu, following the landslide victory of his party in the legislative election that took place yesterday in his country.
In his message, General Secretary of RPP has welcomed a brilliant victory, a sign of a strong support of the Turkish people to the vision of Justice and Development Party for his country, his fellow citizens. Obtaining for an absolute majority in parliamentary will again ensure your political party to endorse project faster for economic strengthening of your country and necessary reform for the preservation of its fundamental achievement, including the unity and national cohesion, wrote Mr. Ilyas Moussa Dawale. By inviting people to an early elections, asking to decide on the way forward regarding the major challenges facing Turkey today. Your party has offered the world a great lesson in democracy, added the Secretary General of RPP. Reiterating its hearty congratulations to Mr. Davutoglu, let's note that the Justice and Development Party AKP, led by Mr. Ahmed, also Prime Minister of Turkey, won almost half of the seats in the National Assembly, following early parliamentary election led in that country yesterday.
The national news now. The march for support the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Margele, has been the cornerstone of a common commitment of the population, who has expressed their infinite desire to see the head of state running for the 2016 election. Let's watch this video.
The people of the Republic of Djibouti has demonstrated massively on Sunday, November, to play the President Ismail Margele for a new mandate. The people have been firmly committed to its policy and its governance. Waves of men and women have occupied the streets of the capital, coming from all boroughs, from all popular neighborhoods and periphery in a continuous stream. The city of Djibouti has never witnessed such a human tide of people who came out to speak their mind and approach of deadline elections in the near future. This gathering, without calming measures in the recent history of the country, can rightly be considered as a popular plebiscite which has no need of voting vote. All these young and men and women have converged toward the place of the people to express loud and clear their full confidence in their leader, the head of state, Ismail Margele, so that he represents for a new mandate. They want to encourage and include him to answer yes to the request that its continued implementations of a consolidation of a state and law, rehabilitations and strengthening of our economy. A real sovereignty of any independent state has no value without a strained economy. Only one necessary condition to exit our youth and idleness and promoting precariousness. In this festive parade, which is colored, the organizer of the events have wanted to mark that this human title is not driven by a political movement but by the representative of the civil society. More than 150,000 people have demonstrated with dignity and peaceful their infinite joy to the head of the state, pleading for him for a new mandate. They have spoken their mind. This figure far exceeded too tired of the electoral body. Their journey took place without incidents or violence. They had with them all sorts of banners and waving the portraits of the head of the state. The Djiboutian people have expressed their wishes, their growth, as well as the acquires.
Several persons from the civil society who were main actors of this march spoke their mind. Let's listen to them. The Minister of Labor in charge.
Gerso arigi koy uri kusun kunnan wahka inna masaku kabta tumbulle maga minna Ismail umma tahta isem barri man darabe ala arwabe le malillahi gititte imege bala sola yai le korambahe gabdo goyti tasaku di fulukdina dairol kahna ni baado habba wastamatu way tahtan dorotu nahyan gale kala saritin asaku usuk ta'bahi wallah do'ayo habayami do'akaha illam nam umri dadar ke afiyatay wal deh uduray nek magalina nek gernel nek gedam mantui awaya tamagunana Djibouti fullu tahi tamagunana ha alamak ne ha matalanu nasbira fadinta abba hayten dudus kakinna ne habba hayten ne dudus waxaad noo qabtay wa inaad dhamaysid baan leenahay.
The Minister of Labor in charge of administration reform, Abdi Hussein Ahmed, has received this morning in his cabinet senior officials of a cooperative Canadian paramedic of the Ottawa specialized in emergency, basically smear images.
Indeed, this Canadian mission has met the Ministry of Labour through the General Director of the National Social Security Fund, Mrs. Hana Farah Sowe. This delegation was led by the administration of President Alain Goudreau, and it was composed of the General Director and physicians specialized. The objective of this mission in Djibouti has been to diagnose the needs in emergency in our structure of the National Social Security Fund and to offer their expertise and training in this meaning. During this meeting with the Minister, it has been questioned to examine ways and means to deepen this partnership between the National Security Fund and the Canadian cooperative. This cooperation took place a few months ago with the officials opening of the new structure of emergency of the CNSS, which will have a capacity of more than 40 beds. First in the Republic of Djibouti, the initiative is part of the new universal health insurance, as indicated by the Minister of Labour in his remarks of welcome. This cooperation has been initiated following a visit of the steering and the senior officials of the CNSS in Canada, where she had signing a partnership agreement with the field of emergency and primary care. Held now a workshop on the evaluation of the national medicine supply to support the improvement of the Djiboutian health system has been held this morning at the Kempinski Palace Hotel.
Indeed, this workshop was chaired by the Minister of Health, Dr. Qasim Issa Usman, the United States Ambassador Tom Kelly, representative of United Nations and representative of the USAID, and the frameworks of Ministry of Health have also attended this workshop. on one of its kind was aimed to access and understand the weaknesses and strengths of the supply systems, the performance of the healthcare system supply and management of pharmaceutical products may not be appreciated, and measures in functions of the quality and the logistical operations and the executions were about to be seen again. Mastering these different stages of a pharmaceutical supply chain can be implemented if operations are not to the top one, to say that at a time needed, and under the coordination laid on down the respect of storage standard, and also by the ability of the health structures beneficiaries. And has issued this product is important because it's only at this level that materialize the effort made in before. During this workshop, the national experts in supply chain management system who have evaluated the supply chain national have exposed the various observations and results obtained. As a result, the improvement and the provisions of healthcare products of quality.
For his part, the Health Minister, Dr. Qasim Isaq Osman, has underlined that this workshop was devoted to bring on the spot the improvement of the pharmaceutical system. Let's take a listen.
In fact, it is a subject which I hold very particularly to course. As you all know, the access and availability of quality medicines are a critical issue of public health. They obviously play a crucial role in many aspects of healthcare. During this workshop, the national experts and supply chain management system, which have evolved the national supply chain, will you expose the different comments and results obtained. At the end of your working session and exchange, you will need to identify the strategic axis that can be put in place in the framework of a national mechanism to improve the provision of quality healthcare products. The mechanisms of financing and planning of each strategic axis should also be the subject of a detailed process for the implementation of the action plan. I therefore ask the actors of the supply, that is the CAM, the financial and technical partner and health programs, including for the purchase of ARV drugs, anti-malaria drugs, TB and imports of the health of the reproduction, that it must coordinate to advantage their order to achieve a better efficiency in order to make it more efficient and homogeneous our system of public sector procurement. Parallel to this evaluation, I have asked of the one hand the revision and updating of the national list of drugs and materials essential, and other hand the establishment of a system of registration of medicines in order to better control the movement of products of health in our country. Before concluding my remarks, I would like sincerely to thank the government of the United States through its ambassador and representative of the USAID for having responded very quickly to our request for support for the evaluation of our supply chain by putting at our disposal the group of experts of the SCMS, and especially for their constant support, especially in the context of the extension of healthcare coverage at the level of health regions through the construction and equipment of health posts.
Still on the health field, the Minister of Health, Dr. Qasim Isaq Osman, has carried out this morning a visit of inspection to the people who have been operated at PLT Hospital thanks to the Kuwaiti medical caravan who stayed currently in the Republic of Djibouti. The Minister of Health was accompanied by the Ambassador of the State of Kuwait, Mr. Faiz Mujbil Al-Mutairi, and his Djiboutian counterpart in Kuwait, Mr. Muhammad Ali Mumin, and the Regional Director of the African Committee of Relief from the State of Kuwait, Mr. Abdul Rani Al-Quraishi, as well as the Director of the PLT Hospital, Mr. Jama Al-Miyabi.
Indeed, this caravan, which is the second of its kind, is composed of 32 physicians and nurses from Kuwait, which will perform 400 surgical operations until November 5, 2015. This caravan has been organized by the Ministry of Health in close collaboration with the Associations of Direct Assistants of Kuwait and hospitals Al-Rahma has in Djibouti. Recall that the ambassador of Djibouti in Kuwait has coordinated this medical caravan with the support of his Kuwait counterparts in Djibouti, Faiz Al-Muqbil, under the supervision of the Minister of Health, Dr. Qasim Isaq Usman. Recall that the Kuwait specialists have conducted during the first 2 days of 106 surgical operations. The ambassador of Djibouti in Kuwait, Mr. Muhammad Ali Mumin, has expressed its satisfaction for the proper conduct of the activities in the medical caravan, which offer its health service free. It is said the ambassador of the state of Kuwait, Mar Faiz Muqbil, affirmed the importance of this caravan. They accompany and contribute to the effort of the Ministry of Health Djibouti in favor of Djiboutians who have needs of surgical operations. Mr. Faiz Al-Muqbil stressed that this gesture reflects the willingness of his country to support the government of Djibouti to improve the health situations of the countries. The ambassador added that this caravan medical, which is the second of its kind, and intervened following the directive of Emir of the State of Kuwait, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed, who has been designed as the leader of humanitarian aid by the United Nations. A training workshop of 80 professionals from the public and private sector in order to train them on the set of questions of cybercrime has been organized this morning in the meeting rooms of a Palace of People.
This training is organized jointly by the Ministry of Communication, responsible for postal and telecommunication services, in partnership with the International Union of Telecommunication. The main objective of this training is to combat cybercrime, which is a wave in the world. This training has a national vocation, which is the protection of informatics infrastructure system of the cybersecurity, aims to decrease the ability of those who are already applying the activities of piracy. This training will last 4 days and it will be provided by 2 experts from the Arab region, more precisely of the regional office, which is based in Amman, expert in the fight against cybercrime at the legal level. Also, texts will be put in place to avoid now the piracy easy who are on national soil. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Telecommunication in charge of Post and Telecommunication and the Director General of Djibouti Telecom, Mohammed Asawi, as well as the representative of the International Union of Telecommunication, Mr. Amir Babrez, were present for the start up of this training. The General Director of Djibouti Telecom, Mohammed Bouhassawi, has for his part underlined that the main purpose of this cybercriminality training, which began today at the People's Palace, he said that this world where we are living is being changed. We use internet in our daily and professional lives. He then urged all the participants at this workshop to make a certain barrier on how to secure internet.
The General Secretary has expressed the significant importance that this workshop has. The information and telecommunication technologies is one of the major instruments for Africa's development, and particularly for the Republic of Djibouti, which enjoys significant geostrategic assets and infrastructure. The theme of this cybersecurity workshop is a current topic in recent years and constitutes a big concern for the government and for the public authorities. Nowadays, the public-private services are being more and more digitalized. The economic and state operation, the political and social and cultural lives are dependent from new technology. A training workshop on rights and obligations of refugees has been held this week in Dakhil within the Regional Council.
Indeed, this workshop, which has an objective to sensitize the army forces, the civil society, the notable and the administrator heads on the rights and the refugees' duty, chairing by the prefect of the region, Mr. Mohammed Shoko Hassan, took part to this workshop. Regional Council President Mr. Abdurrahman Yunisarre, the representative of UNHCR, and owners responsible of different army corps, such as the police stations, police, as well as the civil society and notables, the representative were also present at this meeting. Still on the national news, the neighborhood of the town of Dakhil Orphans was finally electrified following the work of electrification of 100 households.
A promises made to the people of this district by the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Margele, has finally finalized the orphan city with the 100 household schools, dispensary enjoy full lighting in their homes, and outside with the 20 solar electric lamp, including 4 electric searchlight poles, very powerful for lighting of city. The President of the Regional Council, accompanied by the Deputy Prefect Yusuf Ali, the energy engineer of the ADDS, Mr. Abdurrahman Awale, will supervise or take delivery of the work completed by the company's electrification project, including the director of this company, Mr. Suleiman. And now let's go through the regional and international scene. The future of big coffee, the small farmers and nascent coffee industry in South Sudan is becoming a huge economic stimulator for the country. Let's listen for more details.
The company has been working with the non-profit organization TechnoServe and around 500 small farmers to restart commercial coffee export in South Sudan, which gained its independence in 2012, but has since been gripped by the new civil conflict. Nespresso says intend to invest around 2.5 million in the country to expand its program to reach 8,000 farmers by 2020. The high-end coffee market is not just interested in having the best quality beans, but in having a compelling story behind those beans, said William Warhauser, CEO of TechnoServe. In that sense, South Sudan represents in both way that off the chart. This is the world's last new coffee origin, as well as gaining its access to a unique coffee. Nespresso investment reflect a growing momentum within the big buyer of the commodity to invest in Africa and in the small-scale farmers who actually grow the beans and whose livelihoods are increasingly under threat.
It was on top stories. The first passenger jet made by a Chinese company rolled off an assembly line in Shanghai on Monday following 7 years in development and delays, a report said. The C-919, developed by the state-owned Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, known as COMAC, will have 158 seats and a range of 4.75 kilometers. For more details, let's listen to this report.
The first plane, produced by a Chinese government initiative to compete in the market for large passenger jetliners, has been unveiled in Shanghai. The Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China showed off its twin engine C-919 in a ceremony on Monday attended by some 4,000 government officials and other guests at a hangar near the Penang International Airport. China's aviation market is growing fast, but relies on Boeing and Airbus aircraft. The ruling Communist Party wants to claw back some of the commercial benefit that flow to foreign suppliers. For China, the plane represents at least 7 years of effort in a state-mandated drive to reduce dependence on European consortium Airbus and Boeing of the United States, and even compete against them. China's air transport industry cannot completely rely on imports. A great nation must have its own large commercial aircraft, the country's civil aviation chief Li Jiangxin told an audience of government and industry officials. The aircraft, which has a range of up to 5,555 kilometers, will make its first test flight in 2016, he said, meaning that it will miss the original deadline of this year.
That's it for tonight news. Thank you for being with us. Enjoy with the rest of our program.